Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of the Sales Mindset TV show. I'm Chris Edwards and I'm here with Steve Knapp.
Yeah. Hi Chris, hi everybody.
How are you doing today?
Absolutely great today.
Brilliant. Well, today we're going to be talking about post-call and documenting it. So, you can document how well it's going.
They're going click, 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 turn off, documenting, writing down.
We've talked about many weeks now, haven't we? We've talked about processes, we've talked about the mindset around cold calling, planning out your cold calling, so that was the whopper. But I think most people, when they're making that telephone call, when they get to it, because it is a struggle sometimes to get in the mindset to get to it, and you've got your whopper now and you're planning it out, and as soon as they put the phone down, it's like, okay, let's take a breather, on to the next. And they forget to document. They forget to talk about what has just happened. And that's very important, isn't it?
It is absolutely key. I say this about every step of the process, and I'm sure if you played all our videos back, I've said every one of them is key. But for me, there is so much here about being able to analyze and learn from not only your own performance, but analyze and learn from your clients and your prospects by writing things down. If you just think about the richness of information that you get in a conversation, that could be professional, personal, industry specific, events that are coming up, or just personality that the client or buyer shares with you. And if you might have the greatest of intentions to say, I'll write my notes when I get home. I hear myself sometimes saying that. Do I remember everything? And is the richness of the call or the meeting I've just had slightly devalued if I don't document it there and then?
Because there's so many apps that you can use to document it immediately, isn't it? You've got CRM systems now that you can use. You can use your dictaphone on your phone to record any key information. There's a lot you can use to quickly write down the information that you just taken.
Well, I know that you did. You did something similar like this, didn't you? When you went to see the great Gary Vee recently, and I remember you being quite inspired by that. But so you didn't lose the moment. You recorded it, didn't you?
Yeah, literally on my drive home. I recorded it. I started recording before I left, and I recorded all the information.
And if you think about why this is important, okay, why should you go to all of this? Can you imagine the power of somebody saying, well, this has been really useful, but I don't have the budget now. Remember, there are 3 reasons why a suspect becomes a prospect. One of them is they have a budget. I don't have a budget. Okay, so when do you have the budget? 3 months. Come back in 3 months. Well, I know that I can't remember what happened to me 3 months ago. And I certainly wouldn't remember that there was an event coming up that this prospect was attending. Now, can you imagine if they told me they were going, and I started the call, how did XYZ go? Whoa. All of a sudden, I'm instantly back in some kind of rapport versus being, hang on, I'm going again from the beginning.
That is, isn't it? It's very key to listen to that cold call from the very beginning and write down those notes. So when you pick up, hey, I'm Chris, I'm calling from Social Elevator, how's your day going? And whenever they respond, oh, that's good, it's my birthday yesterday, you're writing that down. So if you're giving them a call in 12 months' time, you know exactly when the birthday is, you know exactly when to open up. We had this the other day, talking about Gary Vee. So we're taking on a new service, and the gentleman phoned me up and said, have you got time? I did ask him to give me a call using the web service. And I said, well, I've just got back from a Gary Vee concert, so I haven't got time now, but do give me a call later, sometime next week. He actually sent me an email saying, I've just watched some Gary Vee videos, thank you for putting me onto him. And then when he followed up with me a week later, he opened up with a Gary Vee quote.
Groovy.
It caught me completely by surprise. I'm like, what? But then my mind went, Gary Vee. And he was like, I just thought I'd open up with Gary Vee. I've been watching a lot of his videos. Not only did he take the time to understand what I was talking about, he actually went and researched it. So I actually didn't care what he was selling me anymore. I just wanted to buy.
Well, and it's a powerful example. And thanks for sharing that, because there's 2 things he's done. Clearly, he's listened and he's connected instantly back with you. But what he's also done is he's followed up.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the reasons, so post-call reporting is really helpful because it gives you a powerful follow-up. Now, remember that, what do we say? It's like, let's just think of the statistic. I think it's something like 44% of salespeople only follow up once. That's a lot. It's a lot, right? And I believe one of the reasons that they do that is not only is there a little bit of a moving on to the next opportunity, I can't be bothered. I think there's a lot to do with I haven't taken the value out of the previous calls and documented it. So I haven't got that structured follow-up because, post-call reporting actually helps you identify your next step. And in the sales process, that's a really, really important part. It's like, you've gone through your Whopper, as you've said, and you've said, right, so this is what I'm looking to achieve. In your post-call report, it says, and we agreed that I will call them back in 3 days' time.
Yeah.
Right, 3 days' time. Diary note in the CRM.
Because some people think that, the first call didn't go well, so there's no point continuing. But actually, if you've got a follow-up call, that went the best it could go.
That could indeed be a good outcome. Totally right.
Follow-up appointment, which is what you're aiming for.
Totally right, you see. And so therefore, where people sometimes get lost in this view of post-call reporting, they see it as quite bureaucratic, quite processed, quite heavy, maybe more corporate sales. I'm not talking about writing a work of Shakespeare. I'm talking about birthdays on the 20th of December. Daughter's name is Mary. They said they were attending a manufacturing event in London. They said to call back in 3 days' time because they would have spoken to their partner about releasing the budget. Nothing grander, but just make sure you don't lose that information because sure as eggs is eggs, you will not remember everything that client tells you 2 hours after you've left.
And there's free software to do this, isn't there?
Yeah.
As we use CRM system, we use HubSpot, which is free,
HubSpot's
basic.
good. Yeah.
And you can write it down immediately. So it only takes a few seconds to write down stuff which is going to last for 6 months, a year till you made that phone call again.
Yeah.
Whether it's 3 days, 3 months, 6 months, or a year.
Yeah.
Any other points that you could be considering?
Well, we've spoken about, people say, is this every sales call? And my view on that is if the sales call is one of significance or consequence, right? So that should be most sales calls then, really, shouldn't it? So my answer is yes. The depth of how, the sort of depth of where you go is dependent on the size of the opportunity and how important it is that you're building this intelligence. So that's the first one. I think the second one, you've touched it a couple of times. Yeah, consider getting some CRM software so this becomes more of an automated part of your sales process than something that is a bit of a time drainer. And then I think you've got client feedback, post-call reporting, and pre-call planning. Each of those are really valuable pieces of information that should go in so you maximise the opportunities going forward. So no, post-call reporting is one of those steps that a salesperson or a business owner is more likely to forget because they're moving on to the next thing. So the last point to consider is build it into your process and make the time to do it.
So if you do use post-reporting, so if you do write down everything that happens in your telephone call, do write in the comments, let us know, put I do or something down there, just so we know that you do. We know how many people do and don't.
Yeah.
It'd be good. If you liked everything that you've heard today, do give us some love as well, with some hearts and thumbs up. We're going to call it there because I'm losing my voice slowly. I don't know if you can hear it.
I know.
It's going. So that's all we've got time for today. But we are going to be back next week.
Yep.
With customer retention.
Yes.
Now, this isn't something that we've talked about much before, is it? So
no.
There's a lot of key information that we're going to be delivering next week.
Well, so you've done really well in your sales process up to now. The key is to keep your clients and repeat business with them.
Yeah, because they're some of the easiest customers to target, aren't they?
7 times more expensive to win a new customer than to keep the ones you've got.
So the information we give next week could save people 7 times their income.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Save them 7 times of their outgoings.
Yeah, their outgoings, yeah.
Brilliant. That's all we've got time for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Do comment. Steve's going to be around for a bit on his laptop, so do comment and he'll get back to you with any comments. The team's on hand should you have been commenting during the video. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. From myself and Steve, take care and goodbye.
See you all.